So when I say traps, two things could come to mind. Either you're an actual productive member of society and think about a snare or some sort of spring lock trap. But if you're a weeb, virgin, or by God given, a redditor, you'd probably think about a boy who looks and dresses like a girl. But some people call them traps.
But they're not fooling anyone, that's for damn sure.
Traps are actually quite commonplace in media like anime, but we won't be talking about Japan much today. We're going to be talking about the true capital of the trap, also known as Thailand. So boys, welcome to Thailand, the capital of the trap.
Boys, make sure to smash the like button so the YouTube algorithm will actually like me. Now, back to the video.
As you may know, thanks to pop culture like The Hangover Part 2, is that Thailand has quite the booming sex trade. It's estimated there's 200,000 prostitutes in the country alone, and the industry produces $2.5 to $4 billion each and every year, or 1% of the whole country's GDP. If you don't find that crazy, you're wild, bro. But how did Thailand become such an icon for sex trade work with a large fetish for traps? Let's find out, but first, we gotta start with a history lesson. This actually might be quite surprising, but it starts with Buddhism, pretty much. Buddhism began in India in the 6th century BC, founded by Prince Siddhartha, who eventually achieved the ultimate goal of enlightenment. After 49 days of meditating under a Bodhi tree, he became a Buddha, or the Awakened One. After his death, some of his followers had some differences of opinions, which eventually led to them breaking away and forming their own kind of Buddhism. There are two main types of Buddhism: Theravada and Mahayana.
Probably not saying this right, so don't fucking execute me, please. Thank you.
But we're only going to be really focusing on Theravada today. So Theravada Buddhism later arrived in Thailand from Sri Lanka. It became the dominant religion in Thailand and Laos in the 12th century. You may be asking yourself, why does this even matter? We're getting to it. Hold your horses. With now 94% of Thais now identifying as Buddhists, the teaching of the Buddhists were quite ingrained in their culture. The Theravada Buddhists were never exactly sold on the whole sex ideal in general. Reaching nirvana means achieving the absence of all desires. So they would have to be celibate to reach their ultimate goal in life, to finally reach enlightenment. So the Buddhist code of monastic,
Which is pretty much their rule book,
and has a list called the Vinaya, with a list of 27 categories of people, animals, and objects one should not have sex with, which include things like men, women, dead women, female monkeys, wooden dolls, Obama. In a nutshell, you can't have sex with anything. Amid this overall disdain for getting off, heterosex and homosex for monks were viewed as equally sinful. Weirdly enough, transsexualism is surprisingly well defined in Buddhist scripture. It is thought by historian Peter Jackson that pre-existing Thai notions of gender interacted with Buddhist thought, which uniquely conflicted gayness with transness. For many years, gay men were just understood of having female desires, and they were often referred to as katoi, a mean word to call transgender.
write that down, gamers.
But while same-sex relationships were seen as sinful, they also thought it couldn't be changed during a person's lifetime, and therefore had to be accepted. So, with the majority of Thais being Buddhist, it kind of helped form a society that was generally more accepting to trans people, resulting in more men feeling comfortable to come out. So, that explains the trap population. But what about the prostitution? Where does that come into the picture? Well, that's quite easy. It all started during the Vietnam War. During the conflict, 700,000 American soldiers passed through Thailand at one point, because it was the US Army's official rest and relaxation area. The soldiers had many of their spending in restaurants, bars, and brothels, exceeding 40% of Thailand's export earnings, which helped prop up a proliferation of sex-based businesses. Thank you, Uncle Sam. You're the best.
So guys, so I don't know how to put it this way, but like your granddad or your dad probably fucked a trap.
And that brings us to the final point, to bring it all together, is that it's going to take a bit of a darker turn here, boys. All over the world, trans population are just more heavily involved in prostitution than other minorities. So, if you take Buddhist culture and a massive sex industry, form it all together, it was bound to happen. But, on a brighter note, guys, if you like the video, like, comment, you know the fucking Shazam, fucking dumb shit. If you want to watch another video, I recommend welfare food reviews right up here. And right down here is a random video if you want to feel a little risky, if you know what I mean. So if you guys are new here, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Adios, I don't know what to say, I'm just wasting time. So you guys have a lovely fucking day, alright? Goodbye.